it's really, especially for us Iranians inside of Iran, it is very important to be seen. It doesn't matter if it's me or a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
It is always makes me proud to be seen because of the circumstances and the censorship and everything that we're going through.
Welcome back to the Folk Artwork and Friends podcast. I am Adam Ostrike, and I am thrilled to be back here with you for another episode of Folk Artwork and Friends, the podcast where we interview artists, collectors, curators, anybody and everybody who is involved in the world of outsider art. I want to talk to and get to know, and I'm doing my best to make it happen. It has almost been a full year of doing this, and I would like to say that I feel like I've done a pretty good job of getting such a wide-ranging, diverse group of people to hear their stories and share those with you. And I can't wait for you to hear what else I have in store. It is the first week in August, which means summer is coming to a close. I will be back at school soon. The goal for this podcast is to continue to get them out, as always, on the first Friday of every month. And do these monthly. I know in the summer we had Art Environment Summer and got out a few more than normal. There may be a few more surprises here and there. You never know what might pop up, but the goal is to get these out as we move forward the first Friday of every month. I've got a lot of great episodes I've already recorded, a couple more before the summer is over that I can't wait to get recorded, and we'll do my best to get these out on a regular basis the first Friday of every month. I know that I say this about every episode that I record, but I am truly grateful and thankful to everybody who joins me on this, for taking their time and for sharing their story with me on this podcast. I am very honored and grateful, appreciative, everything, to be joined by Iranian self-taught artist Affsoongar. Affsoongar is a persona of an artist who I first started corresponding with a few years ago on Instagram. They go by a persona because they are not allowed in the country that they live in to share the work that they share without the threat of persecution. I am extremely excited to share this story with everybody here today. I am thankful to Affsoongar for wanting to join me to talk about their artwork, their current situation, living in Iran and being bombed by the United States, fearing for their life, living in a digital blackout, growing up as a young kid, the shows that wanting to watch, some of the shows being forced to watch, having the dreams of going to art school, not being allowed to do that. And despite that, for this artist Affsoongar, they have done some incredible things, made some incredible artwork, inspired people, young girls, women across the world. And I'm very excited to share my conversation with Affsoongar here today. I was just looking back at our messages this morning. You messaged me about 2.5 years ago. So like we've kind of known each other just through direct messages for over 2 years now, which seems crazy. I guess it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but time has been flying by lately.
Yeah, it has that long, and it's actually how long I have been painting, like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And you were like one of the first pages I approached to admire your work. and tell you how amazing it is, how inspiring it was for me. Even before I became a painter, I always followed your work, and I didn't know who was behind it. And I'm really glad that you're doing this now. It's that we can see more of you and more of who appreciate posting of their work. And it is amazing. So thank you for doing that. And can I ask you how many years you're doing this, like folk artwork?
Yeah, of course. I appreciate those kind words. I have been doing this for about 7 or 8 years now. It all started when I walked into an exhibit by now my favorite artist of all time, William Hawkins, who was making this insane, colorful, huge, raw, authentic outsider art. And I had no idea what it was. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I love it and I'm obsessed with it and I need to know everything about that. And so from that point on, I just started the Instagram account sharing my favorite artworks. I got very lucky. It grew and it kept growing and growing. And from there, it helped me to start a website, sell artwork for people, start a newsletter. And I do appreciate those kind words. I've always, though, have thought I want to keep the page and the work about the artists, about you, about the people that make the work. Because it's not my work. I'm very fortunate and lucky that everybody allows me to share their work. And so when I did start this, and it's been evolving a little bit, but I always, again, wanted to keep my face and my whatever out of it. I do have a
Yeah.
great face, but no, it's not that great. But I wanted to keep that out of it, and I really just wanted it to be about the artist. So even today, now while I'm doing this podcast and sitting here with you, I just feel extremely lucky that I have a great big following, and I have the ability to do this. So I just wanted to continue to share the stories of the incredible artist. And I must say, you are at the top of the list.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it really. Like I said, I even followed you way before I became a painter. So it is also very important for me to see where are you coming from and how you approach this.
Mm-hmm.
And it is insane for me to see that one day I was looking at your page and I was like, how can I do this too? And then after painting for a while, I became one of those people that you post. And now we're like doing this, and I'm really glad that we're doing this.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm a full-time art teacher, and so I have the summer off right now, and I've been trying my best to interview as many people as possible. And sometimes when I ask people to do this, I'm like, they're not going to want to do this, but I was thinking of people and I was like, I gotta ask you, and you immediately were like, of course, yeah, let's do it. So
Yeah, hell yeah, because I have been asked before to do a press, like a video call thing, but because I keep my identity hidden, I usually refuse to do this. But because I really admire your work, I was like, I cannot say no to this guy. And I also ordered the mask from my creative friends. I was like, I need something special because I really love this, creative thing that he's doing, and I really want to be on one of his episodes. And so, yeah,
well,
absolutely.
thank you so much. It means a lot, and I do really appreciate that. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. I am extremely excited, and please forgive me. I'm a teacher, and I am very known to mispronounce names. But you go by the name of Affsoongar?
Yes, it is more Persian in Farsi. It is called Affsoongar,
okay,
which Americans tend to use more than
yeah. Please forgive us. Yes, growing up in Iowa, and I took French 4 years in French in high school, and I could read it and I could write it, but my teacher was like, Adam, you cannot speak French at all. I was like, I know, I'm sorry, my pronunciation is terrible. But
No,
can you tell me a little bit about? I guess we should also say you're joining me currently from. Forgive me how I say this as well. Tehran, Iran. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. It.
It is currently a very sunny, hot day in Tehran, and yeah, I wanted to paint after this episode, and which I usually do it at nights because my creative process, I don't know, I cannot do anything in daytime. But yeah, I'm talking to you from Tehran, Iran.
Thank you so much. Again, obviously, with everything that's going on in the world, in your country, my country,
Yeah.
first I should say I'm sorry. But I really do appreciate you joining me here today. So what is it's a hot day there? What was your day like today? Because you are joining me. It's about 6 or 7 p.m. In the afternoon. There, you're going to get to painting later. What does a normal day look like for you?
Normal day is because I still live with my parents, and my studio is basically in my bedroom.
Okay.
And when I wake up, I usually start my day with like feeding my cat, and I usually start with watching a lot of paintings, even though I'm not really good with names and I don't really catch the artist names really well, but I really like to, scroll a lot on Instagram to see who's painting what, and till till the night, I want to have an idea of what inspired me that day, so I can start painting it. And so yeah, I usually start by doing that, and I take a walk outside. It's really hot outside, so not really the best days you can go
Sure.
outside and get inspired by the outside world. But yeah, I usually start painting by night, and what I do is that I put a big cardboard on my wall and start painting on it right away. I do a little bit of sketch on it, but it's not like I do a lot of sketches on the paper to make sure that I can paint this and then put it on the cardboard.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
So you're
that's it.
just going throughout the day, soaking in as much information and as much visuals as you can, and then once it's nighttime, I love that. You kind of like flip a switch and it's like now it's time to
Yeah,
create. That's that's
exactly.
fantastic. That's so cool. Again, I wish that at nighttime I had the energy to paint, but again, usually I'm yelling at my children, go to bed. My dog's like, hey, what about me? And I'm like, but then that's my time to like sit and usually maybe message you or start picking some works that I'm going to start sharing the next few days. So that's really cool. That's I always love to hear and know um, how artists sort of whether they're journaling or sketching or just ideas strike and they're just going to it. So thank you for sharing that. I would love to know a little bit. You mentioned that you just sort of recently started this incredible artwork that you've been doing. Can you tell me a little bit what it was like for you growing up and what your relationship to art was as a kid?
Yeah, I always uh, I remember this memory of me having a conversation with my mom that I wanted to become a painter when I grew up. And I remember her telling me that, you don't want to become a painter, like
Typical
painter,
parents things. Yeah, I
really
mean,
people. You don't want to become that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
uh, yeah, that right away killed the spark of becoming the painter. But
Yeah.
yeah, growing up in a strict religious family inside of Iran, It wasn't really much of a choice for me to, straightly become a painter. So I have done many different things before becoming a painter, and I had to study the major that I wasn't really that interested in, which was, architecture.
Oh, okay.
And I dropped out of college because I couldn't finish it. And after that, I tried like a few different jobs, just wanted to explore what I can do, what are my abilities, and still that kind of wrong belief system was still wired into my system that, you cannot become a painter. You never studied painting. And it was always, really upsetting for me that I never got to go to the art school and experience what others experience. And I never knew outsider artwork ever existed, especially in Iran. The culture is not there yet, not still. And let alone back then when I was wondering if I can become a painter.
Yeah.
And so what I did was that, like, around 2.5 years ago, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start painting, and I'm gonna do it under a name that nobody knows me, because I was really afraid of being judged. But even though I was never a painter, I was in the art community in Tehran.
Oh, cool.
So I was really afraid of being judged by the people that actually went and studied art.
Yeah.
So for a whole year, I just wanted to, challenge this fear of being perfect in my painting and not being judged by others. So what I did was that I started painting every night. It was a really small scale. And I was like, no matter what, if I like it or not, I'm going to post it. And after a year, everything changed. Like, I never thought I could be seen by my artworks, and I started developing a signature. And what I saw through that pattern was that I started vomiting what I had in me from what influenced me before that, before I started having a signature. So I had to, throw that throw all of that out of my system to, start developing something that anyone that sees it and knows me can call it, okay, this is from her. And that was the main thing that I wanted to achieve. I was always like, how can I paint something that anyone that knows me can, directly guess that this is my artwork? So eventually, after a year, that happened. And thanks to all of the people outside of Iran that, took interest in my artwork, especially like Dean Brown from Paul Polioke and so many other people, I started gaining more attention. And like you yourself really posted many of my artworks. And it was really, really important for me to gain that kind of attention, because in Iran, it is, I cannot show these artworks in here. Not only because of, the regime, and they don't allow it, and whatever. It's because a lot of people are still not ready, not only for the kind of artwork I'm making, which is basically very nude, but also not ready for outsider artwork. It is very academic based. Still, it is very encouraged to be a painter that has studied so much.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense, and I guess it's beautiful that you are able to have sort of this persona and then feel so comfortable and confident to make that work. It's also, I guess, it's both it's sad, but also, I guess, a little enduring almost, that like in Iowa, it's exactly the same as in Tehran, where your parents are kind of like, why would you be a painter? Don't do that. And then, and you're so, because similarly, I should say, my parents were very, whatever I wanted to do, I was very lucky. But still, there was that like, artwork is academic. It needs to look like this. It has to go like this. And anything
Yeah.
outside of that was not encouraged or not. It was like, what are you doing? So I always felt that pressure too, to make perfect art. And then when I discovered the world of outsider art, it's this whole new world that's opening up, and it's so comforting and just welcoming, and it feels like, yeah, like the weight of the world is kind of lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. I was really upset in the beginning that I couldn't show in Iran, but then after that, I had many opportunities to, go to art fairs or show in galleries outside of Iran, and I was like, you know what? This is more than enough. I don't need to be upset about, not being able to show here yet. Hopefully one day I can, which I did. Like I did a few shows in Tehran, but they were like basically my artworks that didn't have anything inside of them,
Oh, sure.
like, and no nudity. They were
Yeah.
really like
Yeah.
the ones that they could show, and they were still not really appreciated because again, with the outsider culture not being here yet.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
So then, even
I'm
those small works that you were first kind of starting out with, you said you were in this community in Tehran of a small group of artists. Would you even take those and show them to your friends in the art community there, or were they even just like, no way, that's not our speed at all? How did that work?
I never even tried to, honestly.
Sure.
I stayed anonymous as much as I could. Even until now, most of the people in Iran that, maybe know me are from the, underground scene of Tehran.
Mm-hmm.
And, the real art scene of Tehran are basically most of the people that have studied art, and I don't think they really are that much familiar with my work, especially that we don't really get to show anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So how can they know your work other than like being really online on Instagram and
Yeah.
maybe get a chance to know you from there? But yeah, I mainly show it to my friends that have, known me for years, and they really appreciate it. But no, other than that, I haven't been able to do it. But I have uh, I have got a lot of attention from Iranians in diaspora,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
um, because my work got the chance to be out there. I also got the chance to be seen by them, and they also helped me a lot with anything you can imagine, with shipping my stuff, with like, getting my prints out there, or supporting in any way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, even shipping my artworks is a hassle.
Yeah. I heard a
uh,
little bit about that from Dean in New York about, yeah, about how hard it is, and I can't even imagine what you went through to
yeah.
get your works outside of Tehran.
Yeah, each time I worked with Dean, I was like, man, I don't know what's going on, but each time I'm trying to send you artworks, a war happens. And I don't know how my artworks get to you. I just know there's just some special force behind it that is like sending it to you. Because I remember for the Outsider Art Fair, it took like 2 months and a half for my artworks to get there,
Mm-hmm.
and smuggled them between some other artworks, and they went to Italy, and from Italy they were shipped to New York, and um, till the first day of Outsider Art Fair, I was during a digital blackout, so
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea even if Dean got his hands on the artworks or not. And I was really upset. I was like, oh my God, I wish I could be online to see at least if they arrived or not. So yeah, it's always a little bit of something with shipping the works because of what's inside of them. Like, I'm sure there are a lot of people in Iran that can ship their paintings like freely. There's no problem with that. But because of what I'm painting and what they go through, like, what is it? What are you painting? Can we see it or not? And all of that troubles, I have to smuggle them each time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit more about what is in the paintings, but I guess just to talk about the Outsider Art Fair, I remember so setting up is usually chaotic. Everyone's like the day before, like putting all their works up, but I do believe that talking to Dean that one of like your works like showed up literally the day of the fair or right before. So to get them there was truly incredible. Obviously, like you mentioned, unfortunately, I guess a week or two before the Outsider Art Fair, um, the war had started in Iran, where the U.S. and Israel had started bombing. So you were in a blackout. You had no idea. Eventually, you were able to see some of the works that were up at the Outsider Art Fair. And we should say too, like you were talking about the Iranian diaspora, like you're sort of like this international folk hero now because your work is not just in Tehran; it is out in the whole world. But could you talk a little bit about sort of the mixed emotions or the feelings that you had? It was kind of bittersweet, where you had your work finally on display in New York at the Outsider Art Fair, but you weren't there and you were in a digital blackout. And I mean, I don't know your specific circumstances, but fearing for your life because bombs were being dropped on your country.
Yeah. So for me, I'm usually trying to be the most grateful as I can be, and at that moment, even though it was really heartbreaking for me, not being even able to see them online, but I was like, thank God I could at least get them out there because I was worried they're not going to be able to even arrive in time. So at least I knew that they were up on the wall. But at the same time, it is an old story for me, to be honest, because I have not been able to stand beside any of my works in any of my exhibitions other than the ones that they were in Tehran.
Yeah.
And it was always an upsetting matter for me because you want to go through even the installation to have an opinion of which artworks go better together.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
you know, just to be able to stand beside your work. And one of the greatest things that happened was that I saw Jerry Saltz took a picture with one of my artworks, and I was like, you know what? It was worth it.
You did it.
Even
Yeah,
though
you
I
made
wasn't
it.
able to take a picture of them with myself, I'm glad that there are a lot of amazing creatives out there that are seeing it, and they're able to watch it closely because I can only post them online, and it is not the same thing to see a painting on your phone and live and in a really big size that you never imagined that the painting you saw on your phone was this big.
Your work, some of them were huge. I couldn't imagine. I had no idea that they were that big. Some of them, they were fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I recently, after doing a lot of smaller paintings to get out of that fear, I started doing larger ones to, just overcome that fear fully. Just, I can do this in a big size. No worries. And so yeah, it was really a bittersweet experience for me. But I'm also really glad because I got a lot of attention. I got a few press after that. And that's the main thing that I wanted to achieve from all of this. And hopefully, yes, I can maybe someday come and stand beside my work in New York City. But for now, I'm really glad with what I have in hand. I'm really grateful.
You should be really happy. I mean, it was kind of the talk of the fair, at least I thought. And it was, like you mentioned, I had seen your work on Instagram on a small screen for the past 2 years, but to finally see them in person, it was incredible. And they are really moving and fantastic works of art. So you should be very
Yes.
proud, and all that you went through, and again, shout out to Dean for helping get them there and putting them up.
Yeah.
It was great to see.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hearing this from you, it is a blessing.
Well, again, you're the really talented, incredible artist. So um, kudos to you. I did one last thing on the fair. I guess I kind of from up top didn't really mention. We're going all over the place, which is fine. But your persona of Sungar, it kind of translates to enchantress or strong, confident woman. Um, I do want to tell you just a quick story. I sent you a photo from the Outsider Art Fair. There was a young woman, probably college aged, who was really excited to be at the fair. It was the first time that she was there. And she was in my booth. She was looking at some of the work. She's like, oh, I want to get this one. Maybe you get that one. She had never purchased art before. And she was like, I really like this piece, but I'm going to keep looking around. I just had got here. I was like, fine. I would have loved to have sold that piece, but I get it. There's a lot to see. And then I would say probably 30, 45 minutes later, she comes around the corner and she's got a giant piece of yours. And she is over the moon. She is thrilled. It is the first piece that she had bought. I believe it was called Behest Heaven, two women on horses. And she was over the moon, completely thrilled. So, what does seeing that mean to you?
Wow. I remember you sent me that picture of hers, and it was during those days that I could just be online for a quick, like, 2 minutes and, like, again, be offline for 2 days. And it was one of those days that I just got online after, for example, 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened their chat and I saw that, and I don't want to sound cliche, but I started crying my eyes out. I was like, "Oh my god, look at this picture. This means the world to me.
Yeah.
To be this kind of situation and still having the opportunity to show my artwork and have them sold to these, amazing people that are this excited. Like, she had the biggest smile on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an amazing experience, and I'm so grateful to you for sending me that picture. And yeah, we actually started talking. Like, she reached out to me a while after the Outsider Art
Good.
Fair. Yeah, and she was like, I'm really glad I got this. And she sent me a few pictures of the artwork. And I was like, you know what? Well deserved.
Fantastic.
Well deserved.
That's so cool to hear that she reached out to you. I think that's one of the best parts about sort of this outsider art world. And like, it's weird because Instagram, it's not real life, but it has allowed you to get your work out to millions of people outside of where you live. It's allowed me to meet so many amazing people, to do things like this. And I think the best part about the Outsider Art Fair is a lot of those artists are either there or you can message them on Instagram and they are there to chat with you and maybe tell you more about the work. It's really, really cool. And I'm so glad that you were able to connect with her and talk,
Yeah.
because I won't ever forget that look on her face. She was so, so excited.
Yeah, that was an iconic picture.
It really was.
What?
Um, you know, uh, it's hard to pick a favorite one of your works, because they're all so fantastic, so powerful. You know, all of your work kind of features these strong, powerful women, often not wearing clothes, but these just strong and empowered women. So, can you tell me a little bit about why it's so crucial for you to have these women be so powerful, and what it means to you, the work that you are creating and putting out there?
Well, it definitely has a lot to do with my upbringing, growing up inside of Iran and also inside a religious family.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I always hated watching like cartoons from our TV, and I always watched them from the satellite.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching a lot of Kim Possible and,
Yeah.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and a lot of women that were shown really as powerful and dynamic, and they were revengeful, and I never had that growing up, especially not because we never had them culturally as Iranians. It's because of the regime that we're living under their flag on.
Uh-huh.
And so what I always remembered was that we always had so many stories that uh, their main figures were like powerful men,
Mm-hmm.
but we never had like any superheroes that were women, and like any women, like for all I know, women were always oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted to build a narrative. Like after painting for a whole year, I understood what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, this is my chance to retell this story. This is my chance to build an alter ego, build a character that this time there are no men inside of it. Also, I don't know how to draw a man, honestly. I have
You
no
don't need
idea.
to. You're doing great. You don't need to.
Yeah. So I was always inspired by Persian miniatures, and I always had a unibrow. You don't see my face, but I have a really Persian face that you always see in Persian miniatures with women with unibrows.
Uh-huh.
And growing up inside of Iran, people really were never really fond of my eyebrows, and I was always a little bit ashamed of them.
Yeah.
But when I eventually, like a few years ago, I was like, you know what? I love them. I'm just going to be okay with them. Nothing really bad about them. It
Yeah.
is a really a Persian coded feature of your face, and you should be okay with it. And it is interesting that eventually in my paintings, they also look like me.
Yeah.
And they also have really Persian features and a lot of Persian poetry. So, as much as it is really hard to be Iranian these days, I am proud to be able to paint what I paint and get my stories out there and
Mm-hmm.
say to people, you know what, I was raised under this flag, but this had nothing to do with me. And eventually, I painted what I always wanted to paint from my childhood. And I eventually created that character that I never had growing up.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's what's up.
I love it. That's what's up. That's beautiful. Um, that's fantastic. And hopefully, again, I know it's hard, but in Tehran, but maybe there will be other little girls who now can see themselves in your work, or can inspire them and to be that Kim Possible or that Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's really I remember watching Kim Possible when I was younger too. Um, are there, with are there any sort of misconceptions that you would like to speak on or talk about about Iran? You know, I growing up, I've lived in the United States my entire life. I think, of course, now, depending on what news channel you watch, all you are kind of fed is these scary, scary things. But you know, getting to know you a little bit more and some other friends that I have in the country, and just with everything that's going on, you know, trying to educate myself about the good and about the things. Like, first of all, Tehran looks like an extremely beautiful place to be with the mountains and everything. Are there any
Yeah.
misconceptions that you would like to talk about for a American audience about your country?
Yes, of course. First of all, we're not religious people at all.
Sure.
Like a lot of us, especially after what happened after the revolution, like Iranians were never like really religious people to begin with. And especially after they were like, pressed by the IRGC,
Yeah.
uh, started hating on it too. And yeah, honestly, we have the best people that I'm not I'm not trying to sound silly or anything, but like we have the kindest people in Iran.
Yeah.
Even though after what happened to us, if you come visit here, they're always very, very kind and generous towards tourists and people that come to visit. They have nothing bad against them, especially towards Americans or British people because of our governments. It's nothing like that. And Iran is a four-season country, and it is really beautiful, especially the south of Iran. Looks like a whole other planet.
Yeah.
And I highly suggest that you come visit it.
I
But
would absolutely love to. You know, again, I feel like in this country, all that is talked about is the Strait of Hormuz nonstop.
yeah,
But that part of the
yeah,
world looks stunning. It looks incredible. There's a couple islands I've looked at down there that just look like, again, like you said, from a whole nother planet, but just absolutely beautiful.
hopefully, what I wish always is a free Iran and my people to have a normal life. Um, so yeah, honestly, I don't have a lot to talk about, especially with what's going on and everything. I usually post a lot about what is happening inside of Iran on my Instagram to raise awareness, but I really should be more careful with what I share, because it gets us into an insane amount of trouble.
Yeah.
And
I definitely want to
as
keep
much
you safe
as I would love to, yeah, as much as I would love to talk more about what's going on, I prefer not.
totally understandable. Yes, I want to respect your privacy, your safety, and I guess the last thing we'll say, you know, is unfortunately, I think similarly, the people in my country, most of them are very nice and kind, and unfortunately, we're just run by some people that currently are not great. And we'll just kind of leave it at that. Um, I, I do want to just ask, you know, your work is has well, it might still be available for sale. I'm not sure. Dean might have sold most of it from Pulp. But if people wanted to support you, what would be the best way for some people to support your artwork while you continue to make and hopefully get more to the States and available for purchase? But how could people support you if they wanted to?
Around a year ago, I started doing this thing with my paintings, and I started selling digital versions of them. What I do is I sign them, I put numbers of them. They're usually 20 out of 20 editions, so they're really limited amount of each of them. And the reason I did that is because of how hard it is for me to ship. And I was like, you know what? even though it is a little bit of a hard process for the person to receive the email and go through the whole printing process of it, because they have to print it themselves. But it is, after all, a fun process too, because they can go there and choose the paper and choose what they size they want to print it and choose the frame. And it's also a fun little process for the customer to go through. So what I offer most is my digital prints. And after that, um, because of the war is for now over, I can still ship some artworks outside. So they can always ask for commission work, or, ask what's available, and I can send them right away.
Fantastic. And have I seen recently that like you're working with a tattoo artist maybe that's got some flash sheets that are doing that?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I am. I started doing these little flash sheets, and I have two amazing friends in Berlin that not only they tattoo their own artworks, they offer to tattoo my work too. And cool. After that, a lot of also specifically Iranians outside of Iran, they approached me from different countries. And one of them from Mexico, and one of them from London, and from different states. And they were like, we want to do this too. Please let us tattoo your, artworks. And I was like, hell yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome. I need to get an Affsoongar tattoo. I would love that.
It would be my honor.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll see what's closest or easiest. London, Berlin is a little hard, but maybe we'll see. I'll try to arrange that. Okay. That's so great. Yeah, I'm just really just kind of soaking this in and really appreciate your time and sharing your stories. It's an honor for me to talk to you, and
likewise,
and to continue to get out your story and your works, because they are great. So I want to
thank you so much for your time too.
Yeah,
I really appreciate the conversation. Like it's always amazing to see who's behind the Instagram account and what's what.
Yeah.
And hopefully I meet you in person in an outsider art fair.
That would be phenomenal. I would absolutely love that. That would be great. So hopefully we can make that happen one day.
Hopefully.
Well, thank you again for your time. I'm excited to see maybe what you come up with in a painting after this conversation tonight. I can't wait, and people should get out, get a tattoo from one of your works or a digital work. Reach out. Again, you're always so kind and accessible on Instagram. So I'll put all that information in this episode for people to see. So thank you
so
again.
Much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you again to Affsoongar for sharing her story with me, for making the artwork that she makes, and continue to inspire, hopefully, people around the world, young girls, young women, everywhere, to make the artwork that they can make. So thank you. I appreciate everybody for all the kind words. Again, listening to this podcast, which has been a true joy and an absolute pleasure of mine for the past year. We've been doing this now. Things are changing here a little bit with folk artwork. Hopefully we'll have more on that in the next few months. You can still shop self-taught artwork from around the world by some of my favorite artists on folkartwork.art. You can still go to the Instagram at folkartwork, where it all started, and see daily posts. Maybe a few less in the next few weeks or months, though, again, as I get back to school. Got a 8-year-old entering 3rd grade and a 5-year-old entering kindergarten. I'm going to be coaching soccer, so things are going to be busy, but I'm going to do my best to continue on what we do, as well as a newsletter that comes out every Sunday morning and then a paid newsletter where you can see sneak peeks of these episodes. You can see some of my favorite artwork that doesn't always make it onto Instagram, and you can see scenes from my personal collection and much more, whatever else pops up in those. Those are for paid subscribers. That comes out on Wednesdays. So thank you again to everybody for listening, for the feedback, kind words. If you can, like, subscribe, review. That only helps this thing grow more and more and more, which helps me do my best to get more exciting guests and people that you want to hear from and have these engaging, thoughtful conversations. So thank you. Until next time, peace. And thank you to Jason Brown for the Folk Artwork and Friends theme song and all the interstitials. So many great little ditties that he put together for me. I can't thank him enough. Go check out more original music from Jason at sapwood.bandcamp.com. Buy an album. Support folk musicians like Jason. Thank you again, friend. Can't thank you enough. You are the best.
Bye for now.